Hey there, welcome back to Lice with Francis. And today's episode is one that I wish I didn't have to make, but it's absolutely necessary. We're going to be talking about deadly lice treatments. There are some home remedies and some outdated methods for treating head lice that have just ended in tragedy. And I'm doing this video to help prevent those things from happening ever again. And please remember that this is a judgment-free zone. I do these videos just to educate people on some dangerous lice treatments and just to educate people on lice in general, okay? I never do videos to shame people, okay? So me sharing these stories, I might share names, but it's not, like I said, it's not to shame anyone. It's just to create awareness. I'm using very public news sources to back up my information. The first deadly lice treatment that I want to talk about is the plastic bag method. It is an old remedy that people treat head lice with mayonnaise, okay? And so what they do is cover the head in mayonnaise and they put a plastic bag on their child's head and let it sit for, I'm not sure how long. I've heard 24 hours from some people. I had a friend who said her grandmother did it and left it on her head for an entire weekend. So I'm not really sure how long it's supposed to sit, but I know it's supposed to sit for at least a few hours. This took place in the year 2015. It happened in Springfield, Massachusetts. It was an 18-month-old who they were treating. I guess they treated the siblings the same way, and now it's time to treat the 18-month-old, and they used the same method. They put mayonnaise all over the child's hair, and then they placed a plastic shopping bag over her head and tied it in a knot. And then the little girl was left unattended and she ended up falling asleep. And the bag slid down her head and caused her to suffocate, unfortunately. And she passed away that way. And this is an innocent mistake rooted in desperation. And it serves as a heartbreaking reminder never to use a plastic bag on your child. Plastic bags and children do not mix, especially plastic bags on their heads. In this next segment, we're going to talk about gasoline lice treatment. I've talked about this before on this channel. I shared a story of a girl on TikTok that I found on TikTok who was telling her story about when she was 4 years old. Her mother used gasoline as a lice treatment on her. And yes, for people who have not heard of this is actually very common. It's an old remedy. Me doing my research, I found out that I think this remedy started in 1919, the year 1919, for whatever reason was when it became popular, and I guess it's just never gone away because my years of treating head lice, I've heard people using gasoline for years. I mean, so many people have told me that they tried this method, gasoline or kerosene, right? And so it's a pretty common thing, but I know not everyone has heard of that. But I know I shared that story with you guys. I will put that video in the description box for those who want to see that. It does have the girls herself telling the story. She's now an adult and she's a burn victim.
When I was 4 years old, I ended up having head lice. So did my sister. Apparently nothing was working to get rid of it. So my grandmother ended up suggesting kerosene, since apparently it was really effective back in the day. My mom at the time was also a 24/7 alcoholic. So when she heard the idea, she thought it was a good one. So she doused me in kerosene in a bath and tried to rinse most of it out. Then afterwards of braiding my hair, I was too close to the stove while she was cooking dinner, and at the same time she was smoking a cigarette.
But I'm going to talk about 3 other cases that have happened, some recent and some a while ago, of people who have tried this gasoline method and what happened to them and what happened to their children. The first one is coming from Oklahoma in 2013. The mother's name is Shauna or Shanna. She had treated her daughter earlier in the day with a gasoline treatment. And I believe that she thought she rinsed it all out, but she didn't rinse it all out. And when they went down to go to sleep that night, their room was being heated by a small space heater. And that was what ignited the flames. And the little 5-year-old girl was set on fire. She suffered third-degree burns to 60% of her body. And in that same year, a woman in Michigan did the exact same thing, the same gasoline treatment on herself and her 4-year-old daughter, and they both ended up in flames. They're not sure exactly what ignited the flames, but they were assuming that the mother lit up a cigarette and the daughter was close to her. They both caught on fire, and so did their house. I know they both ended up in the hospital. They had to be airlifted to the hospital. The 4-year-old suffered third-degree burns to 80% of her body, and the mother suffered third-degree burns to 70% of her body. They were in the hospital for a while. I'm not sure exactly how long. And we're going to go way back to 1995, you guys. And this happened to a 12-year-old girl. Her mother did the same thing. She used gasoline as a lice treatment. She probably thought she rinsed it out as well. I'm not sure if this happened, once it was rinsed out, or if it happened while, I think when they do the gasoline treatment, it has to sit for a while. So I don't know if she was just sitting there with the treatment in her hair for a while, or if this was an aftermath where they had already rinsed everything out. But I do know that the mother was smoking a cigarette, and that is what ignited the fire. And the 12-year-old girl suffered third-degree burns to 80% of her body, and she spent a lot of time in the hospital. And these stories are just horrible. Please do not use gasoline, kerosene, or any other flammable substances on your children. It's just not worth it. So this last segment that we're going to talk about is pesticide poisoning. In Riyadh, a 7-year-old ended up in the pediatric ICU after her family used diazinon 60 on her. It's a pesticide meant for animals to treat lice. She experienced vomiting, dizziness, and a dangerously altered state of consciousness. She needed oxygen, her heart had to be monitored, and she also needed several medications to counteract the poisoning. These pesticides are not meant for humans, let alone children. Just because something works on animals doesn't mean it's safe for kids. And I know for a fact it says on the bottle, do not use this on humans. And I get it. People get desperate and they just want to get rid of the lice, but please don't put your children's safety at risk. I did want to give you guys some safe solutions. Schedule an appointment with your local lice treatment center. They're everywhere nowadays, and that is a very safe option for you. There's also natural lice products like the ones that my company sells, and you guys can find those linked below under this video. They're all natural, they're organic, they're only harmful to the lice, okay? They're not harmful to your children in any way. I know life can be frustrating, and I know it's tempting to try whatever you heard work, especially when you're desperate. But these stories are a part of why I love doing what I do. At my business, Liceology, we offer safe and effective lice treatments. We also carry preventative products that are designed to keep lice from coming back. And our goal is not to just treat the hair only, but it's to care for families in general. If you're dealing with lice, please check out the safe options below this video or click the link in the description box. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Please share this video with someone, a parent, a caregiver, a school teacher, or anyone that you think may need to see it. You never know whose life it could save. So guys, stay safe out there and remember that awareness is the first step to prevention. And I'll see you guys in the next video.